Hello and welcome, and today we'll be looking at the Oculus Go standalone VR headset. Now this is an Android powered device, obviously, but unlike a traditional Gear VR or Oculus device, you don't need a computer or a mobile phone. Instead, the entire device or screen is inbuilt into the unit itself, and basically it runs very similar to anybody who's got a Samsung or Gear VR. It's a very similar interface, but we'll just go through it a bit in brief today. First thing we'll be greeted with is the box itself, obviously, and on the front we have the 1000 plus apps, games and movies tagline. I went for the 32GB model. Again, you can't expand the memory, so if you really need more space, go for the 64GB. But for myself, I'm only using this for development purposes, so 32GB is plenty enough for me. So what you get in the box is obviously you get the standalone VR headset, so no mobile phone required except for initial setup, a controller, a AA battery and a USB cable. It boasts a high resolution display, built-in immersive audio, movies with friends, 360 videos and photos. Again, that's not really a feature, that's just a standard thing with VR headsets, but okay. And the ability to watch live events and concerts. Again, okay. So if I lift up its box lid like so, here we go, throw that to one side. And first thing we're greeted with is the headset itself. Now it only comes in one colour, which is this kind of space-ish metallic grey colour. Yeah, it's alright. Personally, I don't, it looks exactly the same as the Oculus, except without being connected to a computer, really. So, quick overview of the headset itself. We have, obviously at the top, we have the power button there. We have the volume up and down rocker there. On the side here we have a USB cable for charging. It uses micro USB, and a little headphone jack there, so you can put your own headphones in if you want to. Although I will say the inbuilt audio coming through the little speakers here are actually really quite good. You've got again one of these Velcro straps, which allows for some adjustability, and you've got a very well padded internal mesh here, which can be removed because, like I'm going to show you later, you can actually take this off and put an adapter in there for those who wear glasses to add a bit of distance between the lenses and your eyes, obviously. The way basically inside here we have our two convex lenses here, with our internal sensor there, which detects whether it's on your head or not, which means whether it turns on or off in that regard. I'm just going to pad it up because it's kind of slipped a little bit. Down the bottom here we have a little microphone, so yes, it can hear you, so you can communicate with other users in VR chat kind of interactions. So that's quite cool and nifty to do. But yeah, other than that, the headset specs will all be down below, so you can read about what resolution it achieves and all that below. I'm not going to go into great detail about that now. Also in the box we have this little controller. It's quite comfortable to use. It's it can only track one device. It has a 3 degrees field of 3 degrees of freedom. So it can't track you in a room. It can track your left, right, up and down, but not your forwards and backwards, left and right, horizontal movements, etc. So when it comes to tracking, it tracks this headset using Bluetooth, and it does lose it quite frequently, so you do have to quite often hold the home button to reset it, so it can be tracked exactly where you're holding it at the relevant time. But again, it's very easy to do and not really a big problem. So we have here a little touchpad, so we can swipe left, right, up, down. It's also a button, so we can push it in to select objects or items, and a trigger at the back, which is what you'll be using mostly for teleporting around or selecting things from the main menu. We also have a back button and the Oculus Home button, which is also our reset button. If I take the little battery component here off, inside you can see we have our AA battery. Sadly it's not rechargeable, this device isn't, so it can eat through batteries quite a bit, but again I haven't changed it since I've got it, so it's not that bad. The headset itself, however, is a little bit battery hungry. On a good run, i.e. using something that's not overly demanding, you might be able to get 2 hours out of it. Typically I'm noticing about an hour to an hour and a half of standard use seems to be the average, and it takes about 3 to 4 hours to fully charge. Again, but that can depend on other factors quite frequently. Also in the box we have our little Oculus Go box. This contains all our accessories, which isn't a lot. So here we have the aforementioned little divider, which is what you put underneath your phone padding. So if you've got glasses, you put this underneath the phone. It adds a bit of separation, so it makes it a bit more comfortable for you, so you can wear glasses whilst using the headset, which is something I wish actually the PlayStation VR and the HTC Vive actually did as well. Because with them you do tend to have to actually change the lenses rather than change this, although there are workarounds with those, which I'll probably go into in another video. Again, I'm just throwing things out. So again, in the little box here we have our customary warranty and user manual. We have a cleaning cloth, and what's actually absent from this box is you do also get the USB wire. That's currently plugged into a plug somewhere for charging it, so I don't actually have it on me at the moment, but it's just a standard micro USB, so not really missing anything there. So in terms of putting the headset on, we just simply pull it to our faces like so, like that. There we go. I will hit the power button at the top. One thing I will point out is you do get a bit of light bleed through the underneath, so I can see my fingers if I look down, so it's not a perfect fit. Again, you can change this with a more robust strap. So if you have a strap that can fill the gap a bit between your nose, that will actually increase your experience a lot. It does boast 3D spatial sound features, although again, that's down to the experience more than anything. The actual viewer device it's pretty clear. It's a lot clearer than the original Oculus devices, I would say. Clearer than the PlayStation VR, definitely, but not as clear as the Vive if you've got it set up correctly. So again, it's pears and oranges kind of thing. Sort of in terms of installing applications, you can install applications directly onto the device itself once you're signed in. However, to set it up, you do have to connect it to either an iOS or Android device by downloading the Oculus app to begin with. Now that means you only have to do it to initially set it up, so afterwards you don't actually ever need to have your phone connected to it again, unless you want the convenience of installing apps using your phone, which is a lot easier than going through the inbuilt store feature. It does not include 3G or 4G inbuilt, so it only has Wi-Fi capabilities, but you can set it up to use the Wi-Fi without the phone once you've got the phone set up with it. Sounds a bit complicated, but it's very easy to do, and it took me about 20 minutes to fully set up from getting the device to fully up and running and installing a few apps on it. The clarity and response rate is pretty good. You do get a little bit of screen dooring, but not anything overly distracting. Whew, sorry, it's a bit warm on the face. That's a problem with having studio lights set up in quite a confined space, I suppose. But yeah, the device itself is very good. One thing to note is this front bit here does get pretty warm. This is where basically, because it doesn't have any internal fans, it cools down via basically this plate here, releasing the heat into the surroundings. So that's the thing to consider, and I can't guarantee how long the battery life will charge in terms of how many charges you'll get out of it before degradation, because it's quite new out this year, as it were. But yeah, it's Bluetooth, it's got Wi-Fi capabilities, the resolution is pretty damn good. I'd say it's a lot better than the PlayStation VR if anybody's used that as a comparison, because that's the closest comparison I have. If you have a Gear VR, should you go for the Oculus? Not really, because if you've got a Samsung device that's compatible to Gear VR, then you don't need this. Honest to God, you don't need this. But if you're looking to upgrade your phone over down the line, or you have an iOS device, then this is the most logical option. It's affordable at about £200 for the 32 gig to £250 for the 64 gig, which makes it actually accessible. It still seems like a lot, but you're getting a lot more out of it than you would with something that's tethered. And in my opinion, it's the best mobile VR headset out there. Although to call it mobile would imply you need a mobile phone, which I suppose it technically does for setup. But it is a standalone headset and it's a pretty good one. In my rating, I'd give it probably 4 out of 5. There's a little bit I'd like it to have improved on, or some extra features I'd like it to have. But that's not necessarily down to the hardware, in my opinion. A lot of those extra features or designs or issues I have with it tend to be more on the software side. And also, again, for anybody who's used any of the VR headsets out there, it has the same issue they all have, which is not a lot of software titles out there to actually entice you in. Now, in terms of developing for one of these, again, it just uses the Android SDK. So you can use Unity and Unreal, and it just uses the same SDK features as the Gear VR. So you build a Gear VR app, you can run it on this. You might have to toggle a few bits and bobs around, mainly for the controller, although again it's very similar to the Gear one, so it's not a massive amount of work. So yeah, it's easy to develop for. You need to enable developer debug mode on it, which you can do via the application on your phone. So you can't enable developer features on the device itself, you have to do it via the app, and then that enables it on the device when it next connects to it. But it's pretty easy to do. It took me about probably 30 to 40 minutes to get it up and running into developer mode, and the experience of developing for it is just quite smooth. If anybody's used Unity or developed for anything for Android, then you'll know how pretty easy it is to do. So that's basically my opinion on it. Again, the full technical specifications will be below, or you can also watch our overview video over here somewhere. Okay, thank you for watching.